Welcome to Business Connections, presented by the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Holly Allen. Today we are talking about Generation Dayton Day, which is the region's largest service day for young professionals. You might know that Generation Dayton is a program of the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce, and it's formed for young professionals. They work on professional development and to create a sense of community in the Dayton region. So I want to welcome my two guests today. They're both volunteers for Generation Dayton, Carlina Figueroa and Heather Allen. Thank you both for being with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. So this is kind of like the Super Bowl for Generation Dayton, right?
It
Gen
sure
D
is.
Day.
Yeah.
It's a really big day for young professionals and for service in the Dayton area. Heather, I want to start with you because you are community service chair for Gen D, and can you tell me why this is so important for Gen D young professionals?
Sure. As you said earlier, one of the main goals of Generation Dayton is to feel community, to feel part of being part of Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really an event that really gets people out, young people out, come and helping and show them Dayton in such a fun way, and also a day that gives back. So Gen D Day, we start off with like a lunch so everybody can meet, connect, get to know each other. We always like to put a little networking piece in there. That way everyone's starting to,
right?
yeah, that way everyone's getting to know one another. And then we go out for about 4 hours, and we go out into the community, into different nonprofits, and we give back for about 4 hours.
Okay.
So you get the afternoon off, you get to meet new
nice.
people. It's a win-win-win, and then we have a little after party. So
Yeah, well, that's always a fun way to wrap it up after you've spent the whole day volunteering. Carlina, what is so special for young professionals for Gen D Day? What makes it different than we see other service days? What's different about this one?
Right. I think what's different is that we give our young professionals and future leaders an opportunity to get out into the community and truly identify what the unique needs of Dayton are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're a special community, we're a special environment, we've got so many different industries and we impact lives so many different ways. But Generation Dayton kind of targets what that specific need is, and then we kind of gather everyone around it. So it's identifying what the need is, where we can help, and as future leaders, having that understanding of our community so that we can improve it, we have that impact, we have that connection to it. I just think it's kind of our civic responsibility to really be involved.
Yeah, so you're growing our future leaders.
I think so.
Have that understanding of how important community is. Heather, the last couple of years you have chosen a specific cause that you've centered it around. What's the cause this year, and why'd you choose it?
it's workforce gap. So we went out into Dayton, talked to business leaders, we talked to leaders, advocates for businesses, we talked to all sorts of people in the community, and we said, what's going on in Dayton? Tell us your problems. We want to hear them. And last year we addressed one of those with the food desert. That came up a lot last year for us. This year we heard a lot about the workforce gap. And what it is that there are jobs out there that are needing skilled labor that we don't have the demands to meet with the current workforce. So we really wanted to make our generation, our community that is Gen D aware of the problem, and also try to knock it out of the park with getting around 100 people to come out and really go to those organizations.
Okay, and so you identified some of those nonprofits that work in that area. Can you name some of them? I'm putting you on the spot. I was going to ask you that.
We're working with Clothes That Work,
Yeah.
right? The YWCA.
Yeah, I would say there's it was fun putting this list together because there's so many organizations that it's not their main mission to be helping the workforce, but in their work that they do for the community, in their charity work that they do a great job of preparing people for their work. So we're working with Artemis this year, and while that's not their main goal, but they do like community classes that get people ready. So it's really cool to see the details and how it comes out, and how they're doing much more than their sole mission.
Right. You did great with that question. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you that, but it's true because there are some. I was going through the different organizations that we're partnering with, and you're right. They don't necessarily, at first glance, strike you as an organization that works in the workforce gap issue, but as you can see, there are ancillary programs they do that help with the problem. And I will add, from a chamber point of view, this is just a perfect issue to take on, because you and I were talking beforehand that when we survey our members every year and we ask them what are your business issues you're facing for the upcoming year, workforce is always their number one answer. They have just a real hard time finding the skilled workers they need to fill the openings they have. And the way our economy is going right now, you know, the unemployment is so low anyway that, you know, the folks who are out there looking, we need to align those skills with the jobs that are available. And so to get our young professionals aware of the problem and then find ways to help and to see what our nonprofits are doing to help is, I think it's a great issue for Gen D to take on.
It's definitely a win-win, business and, you know, the folks we are helping too. Everybody wins in this. So it was a great choice.
And I do say so myself. I do say so myself. I think it was too. I'll start maybe with you, Carlina. Okay. Are you fairly new to Gen D?
I am. I'm actually fairly new to Dayton. So I just moved here 2 years ago from Virginia. It was a military move that brought us over here. And I would say that Generation Dayton was probably the first organization that I was really drawn towards, just because of everything that they do in the community and everything they do for personal and professional development. I really saw a connection in what they do and how they do it, and how they kind of grow and develop young professionals. I didn't have that back in Virginia, so it was nice to be able to come to a new state and a new location and kind of feel directly connected almost immediately.
That's great feedback.
Yeah.
So what would you say what part of Gen D has benefited you the most? Is it the networking? Is it a whole package?
For me, it was a little bit of the networking and the social opportunity to kind of meet new people, because I didn't really know anybody once we moved here. So the opportunity to meet new people that were around my age, that had the same kind of values and wanted to do the same things, and kind of were professional, you know, that wanted to work on, you know, working towards a professional career. So meeting people, socializing was kind of a big thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like, Heather, that's exactly what you want to hear. You've been involved with Generation Dayton for quite a while. Can you tell me about what membership in Generation Dayton is all about and what it's meant for you?
So I got introduced to Generation Dayton through my husband. And he was the chair, and he kind of talked me into showing up to an event. So we have some free events that you guys can come to. You know, there's no barriers. Just show up, hang out. And like Carlina, I also first joined for the social aspects. That's what that's kind of what gets people involved, which, you know, shouldn't be something that we don't celebrate, because it's definitely a big part of it. Getting to know people, feeling at home, feeling connected. Loving Dayton a little bit more. So that kind of is what drew me in, but we have all these speaker series, we have all these events that really do elevate you. If you want to be better, faster, stronger, if you want to grow, it's a great organization to come learn, to come here, to come meet like business leaders. There's some people, some behind the scenes stuff that we've got to see that, you know, I wouldn't otherwise. So
right, absolutely, and I think that's what sets Generation Dayton apart from some of the other young professional, I guess, groups in the area, is that being tied within the chamber, it really is a focus on growing as a young professional, and we have those connections with businesses in the area. So it
kind of gives it some validity and almost a solid foundation that you know that this organization is legitimately here to provide that professional growth and development.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that. We are happy to have you. And so Generation Dayton Day is really about creating that sense of community. How does that translate into what the Chamber's goal was originally, was to get young professionals to stay here in the Dayton region? We want to keep your talent. We talk about workforce gap. For a long time, we heard that term brain drain, which we don't hear as much anymore, but we still have the problem where people were leaving the area. So can you talk from a personal stance? Does it make you want to stay here more when you have a connection to the community? Who wants to go first?
Definitely. I would say, I said it a little bit earlier, but you really do get to love Dayton a little more through this program. You know, we have plenty of events every month where you learn something new. If you don't know about, you know, even a new bar downtown or a new business downtown, like, we provide events for people to come explore, and it's just one of those things, the more you get to know, the more, how can you not love Dayton?
Can you not love Dayton? That's how we feel too. Carlene, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Ditto.
That is perfect. How can someone register for Generation Dayton Day if they want to go?
Sure. You can go on the Chamber's website and find the event. And also, if you just want to learn a little bit more before you, you know, commit, you can go ahead on commitment. That's right. You can come. You can go to our Facebook page, which has a little more detail, and then there's going to be a link there so you can click and register.
All right, sounds good. And it's coming up May 3rd.
May 3rd.
So it's a Friday afternoon.
That's right.
Take the afternoon off, spend some time giving back.
Right.
It's always a lot of fun.
Yes.
And if they want to know something more about Generation Dayton membership,
We actually offer Gen D 101 informational classes. And so our next one, I believe, is June 11th, where we just present different aspects of Generation Dayton, the speaker series, the networking events, the socials, the mixers, talk a little bit about what we do, why we do it, and the benefits of being a member, and then just kind of take questions from the audience. We want people to feel engaged, want them to ask questions. Why are we here? What do we do? And so it's just an informational session, casual, easy. Come hang out, learn a little bit more about what we do.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, the website is DaytonChamber.org, and you can find the Generation Dayton page there as well, and the event calendar is there if you want to register for Generation Dayton Day. If you want to keep up to date with Gen D and the Chamber as a whole, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, so be sure to follow us there. In the meantime, stay tuned for a quick message from our President and CEO, Phil Parker.
The region's most important asset is its people, and to employers, it's their workforce. One of our area's biggest challenges is attracting, training, educating, and retaining a competitive workforce to lead our businesses, governments, and economy. Years ago, our chamber identified this issue as our #1 concern and developed strategies to strengthen our workforce opportunities. Part of those strategies included the growth and development of our younger generations. Based partly on a model similar to the once strong JC organizations around the country, we had conversations with upcoming young leaders about how to achieve our goals of including them in our region's leadership. From that was born Generation Dayton. Today, the Generation Dayton program, we refer to as Gen D, is a thriving example of the new leaders and workers of our 21st century community. The program emphasizes professional development, personal development, networking, and civic responsibility. And it works. We hope you've enjoyed learning more about this program, but more importantly, the young women and men who are taking advantage of opportunities like Gen D and developing mentors who will help guide their successes well into our future.